John Simmons had spent most of his life bound to his desk, immersed in a monotonous job that failed to fulfill his innermost desires. The years he had spent in the company felt like grains of sand slipping through an hourglass, devoid of vibrancy. As he stepped out of his office for the final time, the night was moonless and shrouded in darkness, mirroring the emptiness within him. Retirement offered him a release, but it also came with an intense need for change. Excitement and anxiety coursed through him as he made a life-altering decision. He would board the midnight bus and leave this small town behind. Approaching the desolate bus station, John found it cloaked in an eerie darkness, illuminated only by feeble, flickering lampposts that cast long, unsettling shadows. Glancing at his watch, he knew the bus would arrive any moment. The locals referred to it as the Midnight Commute, an aging, rust-covered relic known for its peculiar driver and mysterious nighttime passengers. The bus screeched to a halt, emitting a piercing sound, accompanied by a cloud of exhaust that seemed to engulf the night. The driver, a gaunt man with deep blue eyes, fixed his gaze on John, his lips curling into an unsettling smile.
"Where are you headed, son?"
The driver inquired, his voice colder than the night. John hesitated for a moment before replying. "Anywhere but here." The driver nodded knowingly and gestured for John to take a seat. As the bus departed from the station, John noticed that there were no other passengers. It was just him and the driver. Outside, the road was a desolate stretch of darkness, with feeble headlights struggling to pierce the thick fog. Inside the bus, the atmosphere felt suffocating, and an eerie silence sent shivers down John's spine. The bus deviated from the familiar route, taking John into an unfamiliar wilderness of dense woods and desolation. With each passing mile, John's unease grew. Strange occurrences began to unfold during the journey. Shadows danced in the corners of the bus, and chilling whispers echoed through the vacant seats. John could sense eyes watching him from the darkness outside, but every time he turned to look, there was nothing there. The driver's demeanor turned increasingly sinister, and he spoke in cryptic riddles, sending a shiver down John's spine. "We all must pay our fare," he muttered, his gaze never leaving the road. Hours passed, and John's anxiety reached its breaking point. He couldn't endure it any longer. He approached the driver, his voice trembling. "Where are we going? What is this place?" The driver turned to him, his eyes now blazing with an otherworldly intensity.
"You have chosen this path, John Simmons."
The midnight commute takes those who seek escape into a realm where their past catches up with them. Suddenly, the bus screeched to a halt again, emitting a horrific scream, and a blast of cold wind rushed into the cabin, sending shivers through John's body. Outside, the scenery morphed into a nightmare. The woods were filled with corpses, their lifeless eyes staring blankly. It was as if his past had materialized, haunting him. With sheer terror gripping him, John fled from the bus into the dark, cursed forest. The bus and its eerie driver disappeared into the night. As he stumbled through the woods, pursued by the ghostly manifestations of his past, John realized the horrifying truth: he couldn't escape his own demons, no matter where he went. As he continued to run, the forest seemed to close in on him, the trees twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. The air grew colder, and a haunting melody filled the night, echoing through the trees like a mournful dirge. John's heart pounded in his chest as he felt a presence closing in on him, something malevolent and ancient. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an otherworldly, eerie light. In the center of the clearing stood a towering, ancient tree with gnarled branches that seemed to reach for the heavens. Its roots formed a dark, swirling pattern on the ground, and at its base lay a massive, ancient tome. With trembling hands, John opened the book and began to read the cryptic text within. As he did, he realized that the book contained the stories of all those who had ridden the midnight commute before him. Their regrets, fears, and sins were laid bare on the pages. In that moment of revelation, John understood the true nature of the midnight commute. It was not just a journey into one's own past, but a chance for redemption. With each page he turned, he could feel the weight of his own guilt lifting, replaced by a sense of forgiveness and understanding. The ancient tree's branches began to sway gently, and the haunting melody shifted into a soothing lullaby. John felt a profound sense of peace wash over him, and he knew that he had found his way out of the darkness that had plagued him for so long. With a newfound sense of purpose, John closed the book, and the forest around him seemed to come alive with vibrant colors and life. He walked back to the road, where the midnight commute bus had returned, but this time it was different. The driver's demeanor had softened, and the bus was filled with passengers who radiated a sense of inner peace. As John boarded the bus once more, he knew that he had taken a different path than those who had ridden before him. He had found redemption in the depths of his own soul, and the midnight commute had become a journey of healing rather than horror.